This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you by the Daily Herald.
I'm joined with Noel Soto, first-year head coach of Waubonsie Valley boys volleyball. Thanks for joining me today, Coach.
Oh, you're welcome.
So to get started, kind of where were you before you came out to Waubonsie Valley? Kind of where's been your background in volleyball throughout the years?
My background in volleyball, I actually started here in the lower levels with Waubonsie Valley, and I was here for 3 years with Al Lager, my last year here. And then I went over to Oswego East and took over the program as the head coach and tried to turn that program around, which we did. You know, it's changing the culture, the perception, what the players had of the program, and actually what the whole school had of the program. So I was there for 3 years, and then the opportunity came here after Al Lager resigned from the program and gave up the head coaching position. They reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in coming back, and absolutely, I interviewed with them, and it seemed like a good fit on both sides, and I'm happy to be back and being a Warrior.
Now you mentioned kind of changing the culture of a program, and that's always a big thing for first-year coaches. I guess coming in first week on the job, you know, the first few practices, what's one of the main things that you're trying to instill in the team? Because obviously, you know, different coaches want to go different directions with what they're running out there. So what was kind of step one for you?
Well, step one was just making sure that they understood what I was going to expect from them. I want them to work hard. I want them to practice hard, to take what we're trying to coach to them and utilize it on the court. Hard work, hustle, and dedicate themselves to the program. There's a lot of spring sport is tough. We have students that leave and players that go on vacation and stuff during spring break, so it's tough. So just to instill that, hey, this is your program. It's not my program. That's the first thing I told them. I said, you know, thank you for welcoming me to your program. I said, this is your program. I'm here to facilitate and help you become a successful program. And the boys bought into it right away. I mean, they're hardworking. They know they're going to work hard. We're going to compete in every match. And that's one of the things that I stressed to them. I said, you know, it's not where we start. It's where we're going to end. And it's a journey that we're going to take together. And I'm going to help them lead the way. And, you know, my assistant coach, Nikki Price, she was all aboard on that philosophy as well, and about changing the culture. So we've been working step by step throughout the season so far to try to emphasize to the boys where they end up is what's going to be important.
And I've gotten to see the team play in person a couple times. Both times ended up being some tough 3-set losses, but it seems like there's really no quit in this team from the little bit that I've gotten to see in person. How proud have you been of the effort the team's been putting out thus far, fairly early in the season?
Oh, I'm very proud of the boys. There is no quit in these boys. They'll compete. It doesn't matter if it's 2 sets or 3 sets. They fight, and it doesn't matter if we're ahead. They're going to keep fighting, keep competing. They're going to keep battling. And that's one thing that, as a coach, that's all you can ask for. You just ask your players, hey, give me 100% every time you're on that court, 100% in practice, and good things will happen. And I'm very proud about this team. They've done a great job and that's my work ethic that I try to instill on them. And I told them, I'll give you 100%. I want 100% back. And they've actually accepted that, embraced that, and I enjoy coaching them.
Now you mentioned that one thing you wanted to let the team know is that it is their team and you're just kind of there to facilitate. So I guess a lot of that kind of leadership role then kind of falls on the seniors. Looking at the seniors on this team, what are some things that you've seen from them that that you've liked to see as a coach in terms of leadership, kind of leading some of the younger guys, perhaps by example?
By example, they do a great job, as well as, you know, with just 2 coaches out there, there's some times that in practice when things are starting to lull down, those seniors pick it up again. They get on the other players, but they do it in a positive way. They don't feel threatened. The other players don't feel threatened, or like this guy's coming down on me. They actually work together. They learn from them, and I think with their leadership that they have, we don't have many seniors on the team. Well, we actually have 6, but there's only a few that actually have had varsity experience. Yeah. So with them knowing that they have that varsity experience ahead of them, they've actually embraced their contribution and what they're trying to instill in them as well. I met with them prior to the season during summer camp with a bunch of the seniors, and I explained what I wanted to do. Told them what I wanted to change here, and they bought in. And when you have the seniors buy into it, it really, really helps the program from the top to the bottom. We actually have program practices throughout the season. In the beginning of the season, we've had quite a few. And those seniors actually go work with the freshmen, and they partner up and they peer partner for player partner, as I call it.
Yeah.
And they actually, these freshmen look up to these guys, and they have no idea how much of an influence they are to them. But I see the program get better. After that practice, the next game we play, the freshmen play better, JV plays better. It's an awesome thing to see.
So you mentioned that a very young team this year, only a couple seniors with some varsity experience, and a lot of the underclassmen have been making a pretty big impact for you guys, looking at some of the juniors, some of the sophomores. What have you seen from the underclassmen that you've liked to see, just based on, I guess, maybe what the work that they're putting in practice and how it's kind of translated to in-games?
The progress that they're making and the improvement of their game. We do have a couple of sophomores on the team, on the varsity team, and they're doing an outstanding job. They don't shy away from it at all. They actually play more like juniors than sophomores. The mentality, the maturity level with those players, it's really, really great to see, and it just means that we're going to have a brighter future. The juniors have really stood out. Matt Canty is one of our captains. He's a junior. He's a very vocal leader. He gives 100% in practice, and the other guys, the other players, they all feed off of it, and he embraces that role. So it's great to see the underclassmen really stepping up. They know they have to step up. We ask them to. We push them, and they've answered the call.
Yeah, you mentioned Matt Canty right there, and then Levi Jordan, another outside hitter, been having a strong season for you guys. Matt Salmon in the middle, a lot of height. Got to give you some good hope for the future as well, knowing that so many young pieces are going to be coming back and looking ahead to the upcoming seasons.
Absolutely. Well, you missed Justin Salmon there. Matt Salmon, the two twins. They give us an outstanding present. Matt up at the net in the middle, and then Justin does a great job at libero. Levi Jordan, I don't think he understands how good he can be, which is great. It's phenomenal to see a player like that. He's such a down-to-earth player. Works hard. Just keeps pushing himself in practice, but he really doesn't understand how good he can be. Matt, again, I've talked about Matt. He's doing an exceptional job there as well. I think that with those two and the twins stepping up, I think next year we have a very good chance of competing for conference. And then we also have some guys that are juniors at the JV level that we left down there on purpose because we wanted to get them reps. I didn't feel, and my coaches didn't feel it was right to bring them up and just have them sit. We wanted them to improve, and they've done an outstanding job. They took the Glenbard North tournament this last weekend. They took first place there. So a lot of positive things coming up through the program.
And you talk about the conference, first year that Waubonsie's in the DVC this year. Some strong competition throughout the conference, looking particularly Naperville North is one of those teams that, they've got a very dangerous trio of hitters. But what have you seen so far in some of the conference games that you've played, and, seeing the team kind of match up with some of the better volleyball teams in the state?
It's an outstanding conference, no doubt about it. Top to bottom, it's loaded. You talked about Naperville and North. We actually won 3 games with them at the Wheaton-Warrenville South Invite. Outstanding team. They're gonna be up there at the end. They're gonna be competing for conference. I think Wheaton-Warrenville South, another. I mean, he always does a great job with that program. Naperville Central, they have an outstanding program there. And again, I can go through each one of the teams and tell you Lake Park and and Glenbard North, all the teams that we're going to face. It's going to prepare us for the postseason very well. I think it's a great conference to be in, and that's one of the things that they asked me. Hey, you're coming into the DVC because we're coming into the DVC. Is that a concern? Not at all. I think that if you want to be the best, you got to play the best and compete with the best. And I look forward to the challenge when I accepted the position.
Getting back to the seniors for a moment before we wrap things up here, Brandon Peterson in particular, such a phenomenal outside hitter for you guys. Then Jake Furman at the setter position as well. Both guys making strong impact every time they're out on the court. What's the legacy that those two are going to leave behind? Because it is such a young team. A lot of times, half the starters will typically be seniors. They'll be moving on and kind of, but it's going to be a lot of guys coming back next year. But what's the legacy that those two seniors in particular are going to be leaving behind?
It's going to be hard to replace those two. And then Braden Israelson, he's also another senior setter. We run the 6-2. It's going to be so hard to replace those. I mean, Jake's been with the program and with varsity for so long, along with Brandon. Brandon's just a phenomenal talent, outstanding hitter, outstanding all-around player. I keep him on the floor, all the way around. Jake is the same way. As a setter, he's also playing right side as well, and he hits. he does an incredible job just keeping everybody in the game, making smart decisions with the ball when he's setting, making even better decisions when he's hitting. I mean, I can go on and on about Jake. And then, with Braden coming in first year at varsity setting, it's a tough challenge, with the competition that we have and the team that, being a little bit of an experience, he stepped up to the plate big time. I mean, a phenomenal time that he's done. He goes out there, he leads, he's confident, and he tries making every pass better with his set, which I can't ask anything else from him.
Well, Coach, best of luck the rest of the season. We look forward to see the strides that the program's going to take throughout the years.
Thank you. I appreciate it.